So it is Thursday, and of course, as always in true nature, I have changed my plans and decided that me and Mike would try to start the car today, try to fire it off. So I had to do some work around the shop up till it was about 1 o'clock. It took me to bang out some stuff. We've been still fabbing on the car and welding last minute stuff up, and so now I thought Wilmington would have E85 and it'd be a whole lot easier to find. When I Googled it, of course, I Googled E85 near me, and of course a bunch of results popped up, and so I was like, okay, well, one of these bigger gas stations probably have it. And then when it's time to actually get it, that was a bunch of crap, because then when you go to E85 locator, it doesn't show anywhere in Wilmington selling it. So I've been trying to find racing fuel in E85 now for an hour, pulling into the gas station now, another one that may have it, that we are going to check to see if they have it, and if they do, then we'll be in business. If not, I'm about to have to order some fuel. They do have it, so it is on the side of the business. So let's go get us some E85, get back to the shop, put some fuel in this bad boy, and see if we can get this thing to fire off possibly this afternoon. So I'm flat running out of time. No matter how hard I work and no matter how much I fight and fight and fight, I still just cannot get grounds made. It's 4:15. I got to get out here at 5 o'clock. Harper has an open house tonight for her school. So Mike got these seat back braces tacked up in the car with these. So he's just got to go back and add these. He's going to add these before he gets out of here for today. He got the new parachute mount tacked up. It's not the best looking, but y'all have been verbally assaulting me about going racing. So we are getting stuff done. You know, not too worried about looks. We can rebend this up later, remake one later. It's honestly not that bad though. It don't look that bad. So went and got, you know, the E85, and we're rocking and rolling. So right now, oh, and we did make the, I'm sorry, my brain is everywhere. We made the anti-roll bar links. So now it's back up here again. I am going to put the collectors on it because the V-bands did not come in the mail. So I don't want to crank this thing or try to crank this thing and these, you know, primaries move. So I'm gonna have to throw the collectors back on it for now, and I have got to weld some more tie downs in the rear that we're gonna add to it real fast while it's up here. Once we get the collectors on it, tie downs welded to it, it can come back down and we could try to do first startup, because we're, you know, gonna jump the gun. But I don't think that's gonna happen before 5 o'clock. I think I'm gonna have to come back and work tonight by myself and see if I can figure it out. So let me get this done. All right. Let's see if we can do this. So this video has just been, I think it's gonna end up being all over the place because I've just been busting tail, y'all. Like, I mean, it's just one of them situations where I have been trying to go so hard at this thing to make this happen that I'm sure it's just all over the place. So I haven't been filming a ton because of that. It's been a heck of a week, to say the least. Man, we have gave it our all. Mike pulled some crazy hours that I owe him a huge thank you to. I mean, as you've seen in the video, I went at it for 30 hours straight between my business. Well, not 30 hours straight, I went home now, but I put in 30 hours between my business and this car. You know, the car started at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, every afternoon, to just try to make this. For some reason, I just felt like it was appropriate for Labor Day weekend to hopefully have this thing running. Now, will it happen tonight? I don't know. I've never in my life done this, never uploaded a file, never done nothing. You know, I feel like if it doesn't fire off, it's because I can't figure out something in the computer or something's not right and I don't have the knowledge to troubleshoot it. So we'll see what happens. I've already spoke to John. John kind of told me over the phone real quick how to get the file into the Holly. And from everybody that I'm talking to, pretty much to do what we want to do, which is just to have it run sitting here, we don't have a ton to worry about. We have to verify timing, but we don't have to do that. I have spoke with Kevin, the owner of TKM. He said it is okay for me to do startup, get this thing running, and to drive it to and from work under normal circumstances, just to get some heat cycle in it, some heat soak in it, set everything, and I don't have to verify timing. I guess he's confident with his crew that when they put the motor together, that they got all the timing, all the cams, everything right. So he said we're perfectly good. We don't have to verify top dead center. We don't have to do the timing, nothing like that. That we will handle all that at TKM. He's cool with the startup. He sent me the file Chris Moore, huge thanks to Chris Moore. I've hit him up a couple times about this. He's answered a couple of questions. He's on board, and of course Turbo John's on board. So let's get to work and let's see what happens. All right, so I haven't showed like anything, but we've been here for 2 hours coming through all of this on this freaking laptop and trying to figure everything out. Got buddy Spencer here with me tonight, and we've been on the phone with John, been on the phone with Chris Moore, who wired the car, and watching some of Devin's videos on how to do all this. We've had to, Chris already did the dash, upgraded it to version 6. I did not know that. He told me that. Now I remember he told me that, but of course he did not have my laptop to load the software on the laptop. So he told me to download it to the ECU. He told me to download it to my laptop. I did it, but then I didn't understand that the laptop has to be plugged in ECU, and then you have to update your ECU. So when I first turned it on, it was on version 5 and giving us all kinds of warnings, you know, that we couldn't do nothing, and throwing me even more confused because I'm going into all this not knowing how to do anything at all. So with John's help and Devin's help off YouTube and everybody else's help, we've got the ECU updated, and then I double checked the dash that the Pro Dash is on version 6. So we've just kicked over the secondary fuel pump because we have 2 fuel pumps. So there's no leaks from the first fuel pump cutting on earlier, and then I just pumped more fuel to it, more pressure to it with the secondary. We still have no leaks. So we're gonna try to fire this thing off and see if it cranks. I have no clue if it will or not. I didn't want to record all of this other nonsense because we've been working for 2 hours to try to figure it out, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't want somebody to accidentally find this video and watch my video trying to, you know, get help, and I point them in the wrong direction. So I've had to stumble through it and figure it out as I go. And that's the only reason why this video is gonna, I apologize, it's kind of gonna be, you know, all right, here it is, bam, it's running. Because I can't do a normal walkthrough because I'm learning as I go also, and that's really hard, and it sucks for other people when you watch a YouTube video for 20-30 minutes and then at the end like it didn't work or something like that. So I just don't want, in this situation, y'all gonna have to bear with me, and I didn't want to cover everything that we just went through because I don't want to mislead somebody. That's the only reason why this video is jumping to it. So we're gonna flip the camera around. I'm gonna attempt to start it real fast and we'll see if it fires up. The seats, all right, let's see here. So I'm gonna turn on the secondary fuel to make sure we're in park, because I know Chris wired in a neutral safety switch. Okay, so we didn't get nothing, so let me regroup and see what's going on. All right, so it won't even turn over now, like it just stops and it's giving a message stall. So I unplugged the ECU and try to turn it over, which it should. If you unplug your ECU, then it should literally just turn over. That's what it was doing in the last YouTube video that y'all watched, and it won't do that now. So I called John, or text John, and John said to check to see if it hydro locked itself basically, and if like an ejector hung open and it's full of fuel, a cylinder. So I'm going to pull all of these plugs and make sure that there's not fuel in the cylinder. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug the ECU again so that nothing can fire off. And then I should be able to hit the starter button and it should turn over. And if it is full of fuel when you hit the starter button, in my theory, now bear with me because I'm not like a mechanic and I don't know a lot, but if you, just like with a flood car, buying salvage, if you you know, turn it over with the spark plugs out of it, if it has water or fuel in the cylinders, then it should squirt all the water or fuel out of the spark plug holes. That's how you unhydro lock a motor. So that's what we're doing right now. I'm gonna pull all the plugs and see what happens from there. Try to get this thing cranked, but she's definitely putting up a fight. Well, that did not work, so we pulled the plugs and tried to turn it over and got nothing. And then I got underneath there, checked the starter, turned the flywheel, and it sounded like the starter went back. The Bendex went back into it. The Bendex was into the flex plate, like it was sitting there with the car off. And then I tried it again. The Bendex went into the flywheel and then was just sitting there. It didn't turn over. And so I took the flex plate, turned it, and released the Bendex, checked to make sure it retracted, went back up in there, hit the starter again, and now the Bendex doesn't even go into the flex plate. So I moved the flex plate just because, tried it again, and again on the fourth try, the Bendex does not even go into the flex plate. So now I'm thinking I have a starter problem, which is an absolute nightmare on this one, because we have to take the collector back off, and we're gonna have to take one of the primaries off. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the plugs back in just to kind of recoup so I don't have so much stuff tore apart. It's almost 11 o'clock, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and shove it back on the lift, go ahead and pick it up, and maybe start pulling the starter. I don't know how late I want to work, and go from there. Not the sight you want to see at 11 o'clock at night, but it's back on the lift. I'm gonna try to get this starter out tonight, and then sadly I'm gonna be forced to go to Advance or O'Reilly's in the morning and grab one, because I don't want to order a racing aftermarket starter and have to wait for it to come in and hope that I just have a bad starter and that I throw another one in there, and hopefully it'll fix the problem, even though it's not just as simple as just throwing a starter in there on this car. So put the camera down and get at it. Is it legit Ford? Yeah. Holy crap, y'all. Okay, so this starter goes to this motor. This motor come out of a 2013 F-150. As we went over before on the channel, there's nothing left of this motor from the F-150 besides the blocks, the heads, and maybe the valves. I think there's a valve job done on them, maybe. I don't remember, but there's barely nothing left of it. So all the cams, all the crank is F-150 crank, which they're the same as a Mustang, and they're good for about 1,500 horse, because they're forged from the factory. So the only thing that's left is just, barely anything. But I'm an idiot, and I reused the starter because it worked fine. As Spencer just showed me, this is a Ford Motor Co. starter. Now, I don't know if this is an original starter or not. I can't prove that because there's no date that I see on it anywhere. But if that is true, and this starter is original to the motor, then this starter has over 300,000 miles on it. So I'm not the smartest person, but I also never, ever intended to have a motor of this extreme to get the starter out. So as you can see, we have 3 primaries now. So like Jason said, we took the 4th primary off. I mean, these things are huge, y'all. I mean, you don't even understand how big these freaking primaries are. I mean, look at that compared to my wrist. It is crazy how big these headers are. I mean, for you to understand, I mean, it's nuts. You got to get that one primary off. This is what's cool, that Jason made it so that it's a 5-piece header and all of them will come off individually. Once we undid that primary and got it off, it came right out like butter. So I don't know how long that took us. I do know it's 11:15 now. Do you remember what time I said when we started that? It was 10, I think it was almost 11 o'clock. I think it's about 10:45. I'll probably remember when I edit this video when I said it, but that took us about, I'd say 30 minutes. So getting it out is not bad. Now I have a couple challenges getting this thing in. Number one, this bolt down here on the bottom, let me see if I can show y'all, on this header is absolutely a nightmare. So I done got all the freaking bolts mixed up probably. I don't even know which one goes which. I think it's this one. Look at how close that bolt is. So you can't get a wrench over that, okay? Like the boxed in, and you can't get a socket to it. Jason said that he got the bottoms, most all of them, I think, with a flex head. I was not able to do it. I don't know if he has some narrower socket than me or something, but I was able to get my hand up in there relatively easy and use wherever my spread's at, a old Harbor Freight stubby wrench, get your hand up in there and turn it with the open end a little at a time. Now, getting this bolt back started on that stud is going to be a nightmare, I feel like, because it was the way it is, your hands don't have nowhere to work. So that's going to be a wrap for tonight. Thankfully, at least I got it out, and I can take that to the parts store in the morning and see if we can get us one. I'm scared to get an Advance one. I'm scared to get an O'Reilly's one because I'm afraid that something will take crap on me. So I do have a dealer account. I'll probably call the dealer in the morning and see how much a OEM Ford starter is. Maybe get a couple people's opinion, local mechanics, call around in the morning. But I'm just scared to put a crappy parts store starter in there and then it take a crap on me. So that's a wrap for tonight. Hopefully we'll put a starter in it, and hopefully we'll have it fired this time, but I don't even know if this is the problem. Kind of shooting in the dark. So I'll catch you on the next update.